What is going on, gamers? Aevatrex here, and today we went ahead and soloed 2 million troops. Now I get often asked, why aren't you 1 billion might anymore? You were a billion might a couple months ago, now you're dropping below 900 million and you're kind of hovering about that area. Well, the reason, there's really two main reasons why. Like, I have the gems to go over a billion might, but this is one of the main reasons I'm not a billion might anymore, because I just go out there and start soloing people. 1 million troops, 2 million troops, it doesn't matter. And when you do that, it tends to freaking hurt, you know? Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the troop composition here. The heroes are actually not bad at all. And we're looking at just over 1 million of it being T4. So even if you're in the wrong gear, when you're hitting over 1 million T4, it is still gonna freaking hurt. Now, what I usually try to do is go with cavalry first, because I'm betting on them being on infantry phalanx. So that's one of the main reasons why I go cavalry first. Now, if they're in range phalanx, then obviously that's gonna freaking hurt. But when you're soloing, the first thing that you want to do is just try to take out their front line. Once you take down that front line, the rest is usually easy peasy. For the most part, I mean, it depends what you're hitting. So there we go. On the first hit, already 87,000 dead, which means that he didn't really have much infirmary space, and 88,000 royal guards are already dead. Now, on this one, I did make a bit of a mistake, because I did not keep in mind how much wounded I had on that last hit. So on this one, I was thinking that, you know, I have enough infirmary space to actually make sure that I don't have any extra dead that I needed. But unfortunately, because I don't have too many infirmaries right now, I took way more losses than I really should, because I didn't clear out my infirmaries. But when you're soloing, especially if you're soloing 2 million troops, if you guys have ever tried to do that, sometimes trying to speed through it is usually what you have in your mind, because if he shields after the first or second hit, then usually it's not gonna be worth it, because you're just gonna end up with a lot of dead, and they're just gonna end up with a lot of wounded. So that's why when you're soloing, you usually want to make sure that you're going a little faster. But of course, that can lead to some mistakes. Now, of course, this mistake isn't like fatal or anything like that. It didn't necessarily, it wasn't like a huge mistake, but I took extra losses that I really shouldn't have taken. So now that we went ahead and cleared out all his infantry, now I'm gonna go ahead and hit him with some ranged, and let's see what this hit is looking like. So okay, that was a pretty decent hit. Let's see what we got. 232,000 dead on that one. And as you can tell, after every hit, my losses are getting less and less and less. Also, there's something else to note here. Because of the formation that they have, the opponent's troops start to kind of beat together. That's why you see that I was able to take down infantry, cavalry, and some ranged at the same time, just because of the way that everything comes together once that wall is down. So you got to make sure that you keep in mind, once you send an attack, that you keep that in mind. Now let's go ahead and take a look at what this is looking like. Now this was much better, 500,000 plus dead on that one. And of course, like I keep mentioning, my dead and my wounded are going way down. So as you can tell, the only thing left that he has is ranged. He still has a lot of T4 ranged, but at this point in time, it doesn't really matter, because I'm just gonna go ahead and completely annihilate him with this all infantry hit. And of course, I'm layering my troops. This is why you see me switching my phalanx. I'm gonna do a specific video on that, because I get asked that a lot, and I'm gonna show you guys why you want to do that. But there you go. All infantry is able to go ahead and take down all range, of course. And there is the hit. I basically take no losses for the most part. And if I recall, half of that right there was T4 ranged. So that freaking hurts. Now, I know some of it was also T1, but let's see. Yeah, 260,000 heroic cannoneers dead just off of that one hit. And again, because he had decent wall heroes, and because over 1 million of his troops were T4, it was still, you know, it wasn't so easy. But if I was to hit him when he was in war gear and with war talents, I probably lose my leader, even if I catch him in infantry phalanx, because over 1,000,000 T4, especially when you're ready to take a hit, freaking hurts. It doesn't even matter who is hitting you. You're gonna do a lot of damage if you are there to actually take it, but if you're offline, well, you get zeroed. Now on this one, excuse the quality because I recorded it on my phone, but we found this guy unshielded, FX Gold VLT, and I believe he was 630,000 or 630 million might, and he's got the wrong gear, which usually means that he's not in war talents, and that's perfectly fine with us. Now when you're rallying blind, for the most part, one of the best combos that you can send is infantry cavalry. Why is that? Well, because a lot of people tend to stay away from range phalanx. Well, that's really whether you're soloing or rallying. Infantry cavalry to start is actually not a very bad lead. And then once you actually see what phalanx they're in, etc., then you can change it. You can start seeing what kind of reinforcements they can have. But the reason why infantry and cavalry work so well is because essentially you use your infantry to start tanking per se the hits, and because a lot of people tend to go heavy ranged, it's good to have that infantry in the front line. That way it takes the brunt of the damage, and then the cavalry is to make sure that you do at least do some damage in case they are either an infantry or cavalry phalanx, because the cavalry will go ahead and counter the infantry or do at least the same amount of damage if they're in cavalry phalanx. Also, another thing to note is that if you're in cavalry phalanx, what ends up happening a lot, especially if you're defending, is that the cavalry is going to run ahead of your army, and the cavalry is going to fight by themselves for quite a while. So that's why cavalry phalanx is usually not the best when you're defending, because your cavalry are going to fight by themselves for a good 5 or 10 seconds, and that's really not what you want. Now, of course, on this one, because they're in an island, the travel time is so annoying. Like, it's so annoying. But I mean, you can't really carpet this because it's only like 5 miles away. And I keep checking the gear, because if he changes gear, I can go ahead and cancel the rally, because I don't want to have my leader captured for no reason. And he burns on the first hit down to 601. So even if you're 600 million plus might, if you are not ready to take a hit, you're not going to be able to take a good hit. So there you go, 800,000 plus dead. And it looks like the brunt of it is going to be infantry, I believe. Yeah, so Royal Guard, and we started chipping into the Royal Cavalry. The reason that happens is because once you take out their squads, then you kind of start hitting everything that's around you, and that would also include the cavalry. But unfortunately, on the second rally, he goes ahead and shield. But yep, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and until later, bye.